Internet, I need your help identifying something. And it all began with me working on a panoramic I took in 2011 when I was in Japan volunteering. There is a small element to one of these photos. There's 19 angles, there's 3 exposures at each angle, 57 photos, and on the 57th photo something showed up, and I'm hoping you can help me figure out what it is. I'm going to give you an idea that there was a, sorry, not this one, medium, a dark, and a light exposure that I took handheld on the very far left of that panoramic. And to give you some perspective, this is what the original file looked like when I put it in the software. This software that I'm using is called Capture One. It has something called an engine, which if you look under the base characteristics, this was back when Capture One 7 was still using its engine from then. I have since processed it in Capture One 11's engine, and the quality has increased. I have also modified some of the settings, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking for help with. This thing here above the mountain kind of popped out. Back in 2011, it looked like this. So I didn't notice it, had no idea what was going on, and it wasn't until I used the new software, kind of the CSI surreal repairing the photo and getting detail thing, that it brought out the shape of this creature, which is not a seagull or an albatross as far as I could tell. Hopefully I can find an ornithologist or somebody else who can help me figure out exactly what it is. The reason I find this thing so interesting is I'm going to show you some more. Again, these are both the same raw file. They just have different settings applied to them. Actually, I might even be showing you a poorer quality. Yes, I am. Here we go. Here's a higher quality one. I'm going to show you the quality differences between these two files. So the one on the right is back in 2011, and the one on the left is in 2018. I'll turn off the tool so you can see more. You can clearly see the depth, the sharpness and crispness of the trees and the branches in the background. You can see the metal and the texture in the file. And if I zoom in to this area, you can actually see tree trunks and details where there wasn't before. I was playing with this quality settings with a new sharpening tool, and this thing popped out. And I started looking around because to me it was very strange, and I compared it to another shot in the panoramic. Actually, this is the one I want to keep. And I'm going to compare it to, I think, this one here. This is the same exposure. The sun had passed over, casting a cloud while I was doing it. You can tell by looking at the soil. The settings of the two files may not be the exact same, but my intent here is to show you the 2 seagulls that are flying above the water. Now, I say the water, you don't see it, but this is in the town of Ofunato. There's this train track, there's an industrial district, there's a river coming in from the ocean, then there's another district on the other side of the river, and then there is the mountains, which is roughly 1 kilometer or half a mile away. So I know, and you can probably tell by scale comparison, that these seagulls are roughly the size, let's find a building here. I'll use the top of this building for a reference scale. If a seagull landed on the lip of this building, it would be roughly the height of the leg holding up this air conditioner. So if I was to scroll up here, you can see that that is about the right estimation of scale. If that bird was closer and landed, it would be roughly the size of the mouse cursor at this point. However, this creature on the left is much further away. And the way that I know that it's much further away is that there were 3 exposures I had shown you earlier. This is the medium exposure, and I have to turn on the metadata so you can see the difference in time when this was captured. This one was caught, now I was in Japan. It was set to Toronto time, so the time in the morning is wrong. This is the middle of the day. But 2:25 a.m. 57 seconds. This is 2:25 a.m. 58 seconds. So it took me roughly 1 second to turn the dial a few notches and hit the capture button. And then 3 seconds later at 2:26:01, this creature appears from behind the mountain, or best case scenario, worst case scenario, from within the trees. But it was not in front of the trees in these 2 shots. And the reason I know it's not some random insect that's close to the camera lens, because anything close to the camera would have been this blurry or out of focus. It's just the way that zoom lenses work and when things are extremely close. So I know that timing-wise, this thing appeared from behind the mountain in that time frame. It's not very blurry because it's so far away. Most things like airplanes seem to move slow when they're in the distance, and as they get closer, they move faster. And I could tell by relative scale that it's about the size of this tree, if not larger if it's farther away. And I was a bit shocked to kind of draw that conclusion that it's the size of a tree, much bigger than a human being. And I was up on this mountain. This is actually a shrine in the town of Ofunato, and the trees are quite immense. They're quite tall. And then you'll see that on the average height of all the trees, a few of them stand a bit taller, including this dark tree down below that I'm comparing it to. So for me, I've got suspicions and guesses and hopes, but I really can't tell you what it is. I'd like to know what you think it is. I'd like to know if there are any bird watchers from Japan or ornithologists who can tell me what they think it is. It would be interesting to have some theories besides it being a seagull, because it's obviously not. I'm going to go back and compare us to the other seagull shot. I'm going to show you both of these are at 100% magnification. I'm going to zoom in quite a bit more. Try to find that creature again. Where'd it go? There it is. So that's at 400%, and this is at 400%. And when you look at the two of them, there is nothing about them that is alike. I would say that the head of this creature starts here, it narrows to a neck, thickens in a torso, and then tapers off in a tail, and it's got two upturned wings that have arm-like appendages before expanding out into something else. So that's about everything I can add to this conversation. The location where it was spotted was roughly over the shrine, which I have to find the name on this page, the Akasaki JAH Ofunato Shiritsu. No. Anyway, it's from the shrine at this location. I can't pronounce it, and I would actually like to find out the proper name for it. If you can tell me what this creature is, it would be of great help to me, and a lot of fun to explore. So, yeah, tell me what you think. There we go.